I chair the ad hoc committee on economic recession. I'm also the deputy chairman, rules and business, and I belong to a number of committees in the house. Well, I worked in the banking industry for about 10 years before I joined the academics. After I worked on several desks in the banking industry and also qualified as a chartered banker far back as 1993. I became a fellow of the Institute. I also sat in the council of the Institute of Chartered Bankers of Nigeria. That's before I joined academics. When I joined academics, I studied law at University of Ibadan. And my area of interest, I haven't worked in the bank, I've been banking law. A lot of our colleagues in the legal profession goes for constitutional law, criminal law, or whatever branch of law. My own interest is banking law, and that is what I concentrated upon right from my first degree, second degree, and PhD. In fact, my PhD is in international banking and finance law. So my PhD thesis, I think, is what led to this. The defense of my PhD thesis in 2011, which the thrust of which is banking regulation, the consolidation exercise, and banking development in other nations. I was encouraged by my examiner that I should develop it into a book. And since then, I've been working on it, and to the glory of God, the book is ready. It's titled Banking Reform in Nigeria, the Law, the Prospects and Challenges, which will be unveiled on Monday, 12th March 2018 at the International Conference Center. Revelation are contained in the 600-page book, which borders on the historical perspectives of banking, the critical role of banks, and the importance of banking in the economic development. There are gaps in our banking industry. There are gaps, and you can only see these gaps if you are inclined to look at best practices all over the world. So what I did was to have an insight into legal and institutional framework for banking development in 23 countries, which gave me an exposure to the lacunas in our laws and our institutional framework. And that is the premises from which I came to make my recommendations only for the development of the industry. But the things fell apart in 1985. Since then, we have been producing graduates without expansion of the economy. And there's no way you can expand the economy without money. And government cannot bring out money and be distributing it to people to go and establish business. People must be able to access funds from financial institutions to expand their business. Some businesses today are producing at 20% production capacity, employing just 20 people. Let them have financial input. They might double their production and increase their employment. And when you take these people out of the labor market, crime will snowdive. The purpose of the book, the purpose of writing the book is, one, to critically examine the state of affairs of our banking industry and compare it to the state of affairs of banking industry in other countries. So I examined the laws and legal institutions and regulatory framework of 23 other countries. And I was able to see a difference. I was able to see the challenges our banking industry is facing. That formed the basis of my recommendations. We cannot be no country can be in isolation and say, no, I don't want to do it the way others do it. If you look at the banking industry in South Africa, South Africa is less than 70 million people. We have about 180 million. That is to say, they are more or less than 1/3 of Nigeria. Now, our 5 biggest banks put together is less than the 5th biggest bank in South Africa. If you put the 5 biggest, I'm not marketing, the 5 biggest solid banks in Nigeria, all put together, is not up to number 5 in South Africa. Therefore, as a physician, banking physician, how are you doing it in South Africa? How have you done in South Africa? Both in terms of regulation, supervision, and operation. This is the way you are doing in South Africa, that your banks have grown. Okay, let us borrow from it. Now, let us look at America. There are about 280 million people. We are about half of them. The economy of America is the most buoyant in all over the world. It comes first. Among the $15 trillion economy, there are 15 countries called trillion-dollar economies. Trillion-dollar economies. That is to say, your GDP is above $1 trillion. That of America is above $18 trillion. Our own is less than half a trillion, $400 and something billion. So we are not in the league of the 15. The $15 trillion economies, 15 countries, which economies individually is above $1 trillion, America leads. Therefore, how do you do your banking that your economy is buoyant? We examined it in the book. And we saw a lot of gap differences. It's like your children are not doing well in school, and you have the children of another family doing well in school. How are you doing it? Oh, I got extra teacher for them. They read between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. That's why they are doing very well. Oh, you go to your own house, gather your children together, give them another teacher. Then every 4 a.m. you wake them up so that they can be like the children of the other family. That's what we have done in the book.